recognizing the progress that's been made,
Yeah,
while also acknowledging the challenges that still remain.
absolutely. And it's crucial to create, policies and initiatives
Yeah.
that promote gender equality and empower women to fully participate in all aspects of society, both economically and socially. Globalization can be a force for good, but it really needs to be guided by, like, principles of justice and equality.
Now, speaking of participation, let's turn our attention to, like, the youth.
Yeah.
India has a massive youth population,
Huge.
and they're at the forefront of experiencing the impacts of globalization.
Yeah.
They've grown up in a world where interconnectedness is, like, the norm.
Absolutely. The youth, they're incredibly tech savvy.
Oh, yeah.
They're globally connected, and they're really driving many of the changes we're seeing in Indian society.
Yeah.
They're embracing globalization in a way that previous generations could only, imagine.
Our sources point out that globalization has created this sense of aspiration among the youth, exposing them to new possibilities
Yeah.
and fueling their desire for a more, like, modern and cosmopolitan lifestyle.
It's true.
They're not just consumers of globalization,
Right.
they're active participants in shaping it.
They're embracing, global fashion trends, music and entertainment, and they're using social media to connect with people from all over the world. They're
Yeah.
creating their own hybrid culture,
Okay.
blending Indian traditions with these global influences.
It's like they're creating their own, like, globalized youth culture, kind of blending Indian traditions with global influences. They're, like, comfortable navigating these multiple worlds,
Yeah,
and they're not afraid to, like, challenge the status quo.
precisely. And this generation, they're also more aware of, global issues, such as, climate change and social justice. And they're actively engaging in movements for change.
Oh, wow.
They're using their voices
Yeah.
and their digital platforms to advocate for a better world.
It's inspiring to see, young people using their voices and their, like, technological prowess
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
advocate for a better future. They're not waiting for permission. They're taking action.
It is inspiring, but there are also challenges.
Oh, of course.
The pressure to succeed in this highly competitive, globalized world can lead to, stress and anxiety among young people. The stakes are higher,
Right.
and the competition is fierce.
And I think the gap between those who, like, have access to the opportunities globalization offers and those who are left behind, like, that gap is a major concern.
It is.
It's creating this, like, new kind of divide, and it's something we need to address.
You're right. It's crucial to ensure that the benefits of globalization are shared more equitably, creating an inclusive society where all young people have the chance to thrive. We need to create, a level playing field where everyone has the opportunity to succeed.
And that brings us to, like, another important point. While we've been discussing the impacts of globalization on, different aspects of Indian society,
Yeah,
it's essential to remember that globalization itself is constantly evolving.
it is.
It's not a static phenomenon. It's a dynamic process that's
Yeah.
constantly, like, reshaping itself.
You're absolutely right. We're currently witnessing what some call Globalization 4.0,
Okay.
which is characterized by, the rapid advancement and integration of technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, and automation.
Wow.
These technologies, they're transforming how we live, work, and interact with the world.
It's like globalization is entering this whole new phase
It is.
driven by technological innovation and interconnectedness. And this new phase is bringing with it a whole new set of opportunities and challenges.
Exactly. And these technological advancements, they have the potential to further transform the Indian economy, creating new industries and jobs,
Yeah.
but also presenting new challenges.
Of course, it's a double-edged sword, as with most aspects of globalization.
Yeah.
For example, automation. That could lead to, like, job displacement in certain sectors, requiring workers to, adapt and acquire new skills.
Yeah.
This is a challenge, I think, that we need to address proactively,
Yes.
ensuring that workers have the training and support they need to succeed in, this rapidly changing job market.
That's right. And the increasing reliance on technology raises these concerns about, data privacy, cybersecurity,
Yeah.
and the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. These are complex issues
Yeah.
that require, careful consideration and thoughtful regulation.
So as we navigate this, like, new wave of globalization, it's, I think, more important than ever to be aware of both the opportunities and the challenges that it presents. We need to be informed, engaged, and proactive in shaping how globalization unfolds, in India and beyond.
I agree. And it's crucial for, policymakers, businesses, and individuals to work together to harness the power of globalization for good
Yeah.
while mitigating its potential downsides. We
Yeah.
need like a collaborative approach where everyone has a role to play in shaping a more equitable and sustainable future.
It's about creating a future where globalization benefits everyone, not just a select few. It's about making sure that globalization is a force for good, not just for economic growth,
Yeah.
but for social progress and human well-being.
That's the key. And it's also important to acknowledge that globalization isn't like a one-way street.
Okay, what do you got?
It's not just about India being influenced by the world, but it's also about India shaping the world. India is an emerging global power, and it has this unique role to play in shaping the future of globalization.
That's a great point. India has this rich cultural heritage, this vibrant democracy, and this growing economy. It's poised to play a significant role on the global stage.
It is. It's about bringing India's values and perspectives to the global table
Yeah.
and shaping the conversation about what globalization should actually look like.
Love that.
And as India continues to engage with the world, it's important to promote, its values of inclusivity, sustainability, and peace. These values are essential for creating a more just and equitable world for all.
It's about contributing to a more equitable and just global order where everyone has the opportunity to thrive.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that globalization is a force for good, not just for a few, but for all of humanity. It's like
Yeah.
we're all, threads in this massive global tapestry.
Yeah.
Each with our own unique color and texture, woven together to create something larger and more intricate than any one thread could be on its own.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Thank you.
And as with any tapestry, I think the strength and beauty lie in the diversity of its threads. It's that interplay of differences and similarities that makes globalization so fascinating
Yeah.
and complex.
And that brings us to, I think, another aspect of globalization that's often overlooked. Its impact on the environment.
Yeah.
It's not just about people and cultures.
Right.
It's about the planet we all share.
Globalization has fueled economic growth,
Yeah.
but it's also come at a cost to the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Increased production, consumption, and transportation.
Yeah.
Those have contributed to pollution, deforestation, and climate change. These are global challenges that require global solutions.
Our sources highlight how these environmental challenges are really interconnected with globalization.
Yeah.
And they emphasize the need for sustainable practices.
Yeah.
It's not about halting progress, but it's about finding ways to progress responsibly.
Absolutely. It's about finding ways to balance economic growth with environmental protection, ensuring that future generations inherit a healthy planet. It's about recognizing that the economy is a subset of the environment, not the other way around.
It's a challenge that requires global cooperation and innovative solutions.
For sure.
We need to think beyond borders and work together to, address these shared challenges.
Speaking of global cooperation, there's another trend we need to discuss. Deglobalization.
Okay.
It might seem like a contradiction.
No, a little bit.
But it's a force that's shaping the global landscape right alongside globalization.
It sounds a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it? After all this talk about globalization, now we're talking about its unraveling.
Yeah.
Are we moving towards a more fragmented world?
It might seem that way,
Yeah.
but it's a reality we're facing. So deglobalization, it refers to the trend of reduced interdependence and integration between countries.
Okay.
It's a complex phenomenon with multiple drivers.
Yeah.
And its implications are still unfolding.
So instead of coming together, are we seeing countries pulling back, becoming more inward looking?
In some ways, yes.
Okay.
Several factors are contributing to this trend, including rising nationalism, protectionist trade policies, and even the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Which, disrupted global supply chains
Right.
and highlighted the vulnerabilities of interconnectedness. It's like the world is reassessing the risks and benefits of globalization.
It's the pendulum is swinging back away from globalization.
Yeah.
Are we entering a new era of isolationism?
To some extent, yes.
All right.
But it's not a complete reversal. It's more like a recalibration,
Yeah.
a shift in the dynamics of globalization.
Okay.
It's about finding a new balance between global integration and national interests.
So what does all of this mean for India? How will this shift in the global landscape impact our country?
It's a complex question.
Yeah.
You know, deglobalization, it could present both challenges and opportunities for India. On the one hand, reduced global trade could impact Indian exports
Yeah.
and economic growth. We are a globalized economy,
Right.
and any disruptions to global trade, are going to have ripple effects here.
But on the other hand, it could also encourage like domestic production and self-reliance, right?
Yes, leading to the growth of local industries. It could be an opportunity to build a more resilient and diversified economy.
And it could also provide, I think, an opportunity for India to strengthen its regional ties
Yeah.
and forge new partnerships with countries that share its values. It's about,
Really?
diversifying our economic and political relationships
Yeah.
and building a more multipolar world.
So it's about adapting to this changing global landscape and finding ways to navigate, the complexities of both globalization and deglobalization.
Yeah, it's about being strategic,
Yeah.
flexible, and forward-thinking.
Precisely. It's about being strategic, proactive, and resilient.
I like that.
It's about recognizing that, the world is in constant flux.
Yeah.
And we need to be prepared to adapt to, whatever challenges and opportunities come our way.
Well, this deep dive has certainly given us a lot to think about.
It has.
It's amazing how globalization has touched virtually every aspect of, Indian society.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Bringing both progress and challenges.
It's a force that's shaped our past,
For sure.
shaped our present, and will continue to shape our future.
It's a powerful force that continues to shape our world. And I
Yeah.
think, understanding its complexities is crucial for navigating the future. It's not about simply accepting or rejecting globalization,
Right.
but about engaging with it critically and constructively.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into globalization's impact on India,
Yeah.
what's the key takeaway for our listeners? What's the one thing you're hoping that they'll remember from this conversation?
I think the most important message is that, globalization is not this monolithic force.
No.
It's a complex and multifaceted phenomenon
Yes.
that requires, careful analysis and thoughtful engagement. It's about understanding, the nuances, the trade-offs, and just the interconnectedness of it all.
We need to be aware of both its benefits and its drawbacks.
Right.
And we need to work together to really harness its power for good while mitigating its potential downsides. It's about shaping globalization to serve humanity, not the other way around.
We also need to remember that, globalization is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving,
Yes.
presenting new opportunities and challenges.
Yeah.
The key is to be, adaptable, resilient,
Yes.
and proactive in shaping the future we want.
Yeah.
It's about being informed, engaged,
Yes.
and empowered to make a difference.
Well said.
Thank you.
It's a reminder that, we're all part of this global story.
Yeah.
And we have a role to play in shaping its trajectory. It's
Yeah.
not just about observing, it's about participating.
And hopefully this deep dive has provided our listeners with, the knowledge and insights they need to engage with globalization in a meaningful and impactful way. It's about empowering people to understand the forces that are shaping their lives and to become, active agents of change.
We certainly hope so. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into globalization's impact on India. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of a topic that matters.
See you next time.